Hello.
Welcome back to Young at the Parks. We are back from our 7-night cruise on the Fantasy. Super excited. We're going to talk about a couple things in this video. First off, we're going to talk about the ship itself, kind of our overall review of the Fantasy. It was our first time on that ship. Second, we're going to talk about the itinerary and all the ports of call that we stopped in. Tortola and St. Thomas, of course, Castaway Key. We're going to talk about Star Wars Day at Sea, that one day itself. Talk about the Castaway Key 5K that Kelly did and completed. Also our kind of merch haul. So talk about all the things that we bought on the ship. So first things first, let's talk about the Fantasy. It was our first time on the Fantasy. It is Disney's newest ship, put out in, what, 2011?
I honestly don't
2011
know.
or 2012. Is our little magnet that we got say? No, it doesn't. But it was either 2011 or 2012.
If you know,
so it's their
I'm
newest
sure
ship technically. I'll
correct
put
us.
it down like right here. Hey look, there's the date.
Yeah.
How cool is that? It just appeared. So yeah, their newest ship technically, it is very similar to the Dream. It is the larger of the four ships, you know, same size as the Dream, which is the larger class of ships. Definitely showed. That is a very, very big ship.
Oh yeah.
At least in terms of what we're used to. We've done most of our cruising on the Magic and the Wonder. So I'll give my very first overall thoughts is I like the smaller ships more.
I agree.
Especially the Magic. I think the Magic still is our favorite going into it. And it's for a couple reasons. So I think one of the biggest reasons is the layout. So us not having any kids, we really enjoy the adults only deck in that area, and the way that they actually have it set up on the Fantasy is very strange. So you've got on deck 11, you've got the adults pool, which is kind of a small pool. So you have that level. On deck 12, over it, so you have, like, here's the adult pool, and then if you go up a deck, you have a big cutout, and that's a family area. And there's actually a kiddie pool that directly overlooks the adult pool.
Adult area.
So, you really have to go up another deck to deck 13,
which is another adult
area, and go all the way to the back of the ship.
No, it's
actually, sorry, all the way to the forward of the ship, where Satellite Falls is, to really be in a true adults only area. But the issue with Satellite Falls is, while it's cool, it was closed a lot of our cruise because of the rough seas.
Very windy.
And very windy. And two, there's an insane amount of cover and shade up there. So if you're looking to lay out in like the sun, you can't really do that.
Yeah, which is great if you want shade and cover, but like for me personally, I like to lay out in the sun, then I get in the pool for a little bit, then I go lay out in the sun, then I get in the pool for a little bit.
Yeah.
And with this particular ship, there was like nowhere to do that, because while there were loungers in the adult pool area, it was all covered.
Yeah.
So with the temperature that we had in late February, it was warm but not hot. So you really needed that sun to like dry off when you got out of the pool. Otherwise you were cold. So not that that was bad by any means, it just wasn't my favorite, and I definitely prefer the adults only areas on the Magic and the Wonder, I think.
Yeah. But one thing I liked about the Fantasy is I actually really liked all of the lounges and kind of adult bars and areas
those
on
are
the
awesome.
ship.
Especially the bathrooms.
Yes, yeah, that was super nice. Apparently it is the second most photographed bathroom in all Disney properties. The first being the Tinkle Tower, aka Tangle Toilets. Over in Magic Kingdom. So just a phenomenal area.
La
Piazza is beautiful.
It's so cool.
We only went New La La once, but it was so nice in there. The drinks were the drinks in there hit you like a train.
They were really strong.
So if you're into that, check out Ooh La La. The Tube is super fun. That's a really well laid out, really cool area. Of course, O'Gill's Pub. O'Gill's Pub, I feel like, is actually the weakest of all of them, because it was very small. I guess I'm used to O'Gill's being so big on the other ships.
Yeah, it was very narrow. It was
super
like
narrow.
Long and narrow. So when they had trivia in there, it was actually really hard to hear the host.
Yeah.
Just because, even though they had a microphone, just because the way it was set up. So I do prefer the O'Gills on, specifically the Magic, just because of the Snuggly Duckling takeover that they have. But yeah, I'd say I think the Tube or
Skyline?
Skyline or Ooh La La were my favorites.
And Skyline is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is an incredible lounge. Just the scenery you get to look at,
Oh,
the
it's so
theming.
cool.
It's so nice and quiet in there and just like relaxing. Super, super nice.
And something else that they had with those lounges was happy hour.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Do they have that on all
Maybe,
4 ships? Is that a new thing?
It could
because
be,
I was
I've
shocked.
never seen happy hour.
Like it's just an hour and it is at different times, but O'Gale's had like $5 drafts. And then the other lounges I think were like 20% off.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I always feel like the drink price, like the alcoholic beverages on board aren't overly expensive. I think they're more expensive in the parks personally.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't remember having happy hour on any other cruises, and I was like, that's really nice that they offer that. We
Super
literally never made it to one of them because we were
no.
always doing other stuff. But I love that they offer that.
Oh yeah. So we talked about the adults areas, pretty much. Shows on board were decent. We liked Aladdin. That was like kind of the exclusive show on board.
That was new to us.
That was new to us. So that was a fun show. Not the greatest on the planet, but still fun. I really liked all the different, so they had a little bit of extended food, at least in terms of, not cabanas, but kind of the window stuff. So we liked the spicy chicken sandwich. Had that a couple times.
Oh,
Super
like the
tasty.
quick service.
Yeah, the kind of the quicker service.
windows?
Sorry.
Yes, the quick
they've got 3
Tomaters
windows
Grill,
right there.
Luigi's, and Fillmore's.
Yeah.
So,
But on like the flip side of that, they didn't really. They had like maybe one thing in each window that rotated every day, which I guess is standard.
and no shawarma.
No shawarma on board, which is a real bummer. They never also changed the ice cream flavors.
Yeah, the soft
That was
serve
a huge bummer.
stayed the same the whole time.
Whole cruise. It was
We saw
always
no blueberry and no
blueberry,
mango.
No mango. So
This
that was
is when you know you're getting
huge-
spoiled, guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for real. But I still liked, you know, I really liked the spicy chicken
The
sandwich.
spicy
It
chicken
was
sandwich was super good. Yeah.
And they seemed like they had a lot more options. Same with cabanas, with the bigger cabanas, and it had a bar inside cabanas, which was nice. It definitely seemed like there was a little bit more variety than normal inside cabanas during lunch.
And it rotated
everything.
quite a bit in terms of like regional.
Yep.
Like one day they had German and Bavarian with like red cabbage and schnitzel and something else. Another day they had curry. Another day they had something else.
We had really good service team. We had really great host. The cruise director and assistant Leslie and Tim were fantastic. One huge plus on the boat, there is a ship. It's a ship. I feel like they had way more opportunities to do pin trading on the ship.
Yes. As you saw in Officer Pin Trading Night.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, we hit a gold mine and completed like 3 sets and got some super rare pins. It was awesome.
Yeah. Super awesome. And every Mickey's Mainsail actually had 2 full pin books. Was not Sea Treasures, but White Caps had another full pin book. And then a lot of cast in cabanas actually, and even some of the other people had lanyards, so that was really nice, and we didn't normally see that on other cruises. So that was a huge plus. But overall, you know, I enjoyed the fantasy. I think we both enjoyed the fantasy, but I think in the long term, we would definitely gravitate more towards the smaller ships like the Magic and the Wonder. I think especially the Magic, because I feel like the Wonder does more over, you know, Alaska a lot. It does like the Mexico cruises and things like that, and they all go out of weird ports, whereas the Magic, I think, is stuck, for the most part at least, in, well, no, it comes out of Miami, but it also does the European cruises. I don't know, we just really like the Magic a lot.
I also think that we're a little biased because the Magic, excuse me, was the first ship that we went on. So we really, you know, when you have, like, when you go to Walt Disney World and you have, like, the first resort you stayed at, you feel a little like, that's home.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've sailed the Magic the most, so that we consider the Magic home. But, I mean, I don't dislike any of the ships. I just think we personally, the smaller ships are more our speed.
And with those pin books, big shout out to Julieta from, where was she from again? Ukraine?
Yes, Ukraine. Yes, I do.
Julieta from Ukraine. Probably one of the first cast members on a Disney cruise that actually knew kind of about all the pins and what's new and what's not.
Very up to date with the news.
So she was in the area of Mickey's Mainsail that had more of like the plushes and things, and she had a pin boat right next to her. She actually set up every single one of the captain's pin trading lanyards, officers' pin trading lanyards. She said she made sure her book that was next to her was constantly rotated with new pins and brand new stuff. So huge shout out to her because she killed it. Because we got some insane pins. Yeah. That we'll probably show later. I don't know. You want to show those as part of the video?
We already showed them.
Oh, did we show them? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess we technically already showed them.
Yeah, we showed you what all we got along the way. There's gonna be you saw a lot of pin footage, guys. Because as you know, it's like our new
obsession.
You know. So thank you for watching, and hope you're still enjoying them because we're addicted.
We got a lot of pins, people.
We also wanted to talk about the Itinerary and ports of call. This was a 7-night Eastern Caribbean itinerary. We started out with 2 days at sea, and then we went to Tortola, which is the British Virgin Islands, and then St. Thomas, which is the US Virgin Islands. Did another day at sea and ended at Castaway Key. I love starting out with a sea day or two personally. Yeah, me too. Just because it takes a little bit just to get adjusted, to get unpacked, to get, you know, familiar with the ship. It's just, it feels really nice to have that. And even though we had a little bit of rougher seas at the beginning, I'm glad we had those 2 days to really adjust. So that was really nice. We did get off the ship in Tortola, and we did that port adventure, which was the zip lining. It was a lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be. I was actually really nervous and almost didn't want to do it. I don't know why, I just got really anxious, especially with that car ride up the mountain. Like, that was
started raining,
very frightening. Like
car ride, we'd be going along and they would just go
the drop off of like looking out the window, like oh my gosh. But it was really fun. I definitely recommend that specific port adventure there because the, I guess, employees that run that zipline tour were amazing. They were all so attentive and all so awesome. They're all about safety, making sure you were like comfortable. They did everything for you so you didn't have to brake or slow down. Just super awesome. And they were at like every traverse. So there were 7 traverses and a tower climb. So there was always somebody there. So that was super nice.
And when we say tower climb, it was just a ladder that we had to go up.
I mean, it was a tower.
Ladder. I know, well
like when a telephone pole,
when we were sitting up there and we both thought tower climb, we thought it was going to be like a ropes course or something, but it's really just a ladder.
It was a ladder. I mean, it was.
So it's not a big of a deal.
Intense.
It was a tall ladder.
I think it's because it was so tall and it was so windy. I was like, but yeah, so that was really fun. And then St. Thomas, we did not personally get off the ship. My parents did, and they walked around just the area right outside the port. Yeah. Like right when you get off the ship, there's just a lot of shopping. I mean, it was definitely beautiful. The water was amazing. Just like aquamarine, really pretty. We spoke to a couple of guests on the ship that had gotten off and done like some beach port adventures. So I think that might be a really good space, you know, to get if you are gonna get off the ship. Maybe book one of those where you take to some of those beaches. Yeah. Being from Florida and growing up on the beaches and things like that, it wasn't a high priority for us, so we did stay on the ship and did some shopping. We did the rainforest room that day. We did the aqueduct, so that was really nice. And then we had the Star Wars Day at Sea, which we'll talk about, and then of course Castaway Key was awesome as always. That was definitely my favorite port. I love Castaway Key. They do it so well there, guys. I will say Serenity Bay looks very different from Hurricane Dorian last fall. Yep. It lost a lot of sand, and I read earlier this year it lost a lot of sand because there were a lot of those storms. Yeah. So it is very narrow. So even though there is the same amount of people, there's less beach. So you kind of feel like you're, you know, close to other families on the beach. Just be aware of that, I guess. And, you know, hopefully they will add some more sand and kind of rebuild that area. I'm thankful that there wasn't any more damage to the island though.
Oh yeah. Another big plus of the larger ships is the rainforest room. And you saw in our vlog during the St. Thomas Day, we did the rainforest room. It is much bigger, and we've heard, at least, we've never done it on the smaller ships, but it's much bigger and better on the larger ships of the Dream of the Fantasy, because you do get the kind of big wraparound window with the hot tubs.
Amazing views.
You know, multiple steam rooms. I think on the smaller ship there's maybe just 1 or 2, and then a couple more of those showers. Huge perk. It's an amazing, amazing place. So if you have a day, especially a port day where you're not going to get off, definitely check out the rainforest room on the larger ships. I think it was about $30 and change after the automatic gratuities per person.
For just a day pass.
Yeah, for a day pass.
Which is, personally, I think that's all you need.
I don't think you need a
We
whole week.
went twice and spent maybe an hour and a half the first visit and maybe an hour the second visit. We were gonna try for another visit, but we also have early show, late dinner this itinerary, so that was kind of hard to, but I do think the $30 was worth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With the time we spent in there. I would definitely do it again.
Absolutely.
And maybe try it on the smaller ships just to compare.
Yeah. Let's talk about Star Wars Day at Sea. So we did have a Star Wars Day at Sea, of course. Overall thoughts on the Star Wars Day at Sea, feel like it was just okay. I think I was expecting, well, we had watched some other vlogs of people, so I sort of knew going into it that, you know, there isn't a massive amount of stuff to do on Star Wars Day at Sea, and there isn't like throngs of characters walking around like I feel like you have on like a Marvel Day at Sea. But even knowing that beforehand and kind of checking my expectations a little bit, it was a little disappointing.
I felt it was good, but not great.
Yeah.
And that is coming from me, not the world's biggest Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
But I did feel like there needed to be more. I feel like we saw Doctor Strange more than we saw any stormtroopers or Imperial officers and things like that.
Yeah, because like you had the Jawas, there was 2 Jawas that would go around and trade, and it was like, if you weren't lucky and didn't see them right as they came out and get right up to them, there would just be this massive amount of people that would crowd around, and like people would be shoving their kids forward to like try to get to trade with them.
It's hard. I know everyone's excited to see the characters and things like that, and I'm glad that we, you know, got to see them. I just wish they were out more.
Yeah,
because
like we saw the Imperials maybe once or twice.
You know, all
Boba
day.
Fett once or twice.
And we were up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, guys.
We were up really early. The stormtroopers, I think we saw them the most of anybody. Yeah, which is weird.
We didn't get to interact with them on the pool deck
too,
which was
cool.
Which was
cool. We saw Ahsoka Tano one time. We saw Leia's bounty hunter, like Zoc something or other. I can't remember her name. Zam. I'll put her name right here. Oh, look at that name. That's so crazy. Oh, but I don't remember her full name.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, whatever. So we saw her like twice maybe. I saw her once in the elevator, and then she was like creeping around the adult deck, which was weird but funny. But yeah, like not a ton. I mean, you obviously get your tickets to go see the big 3, Vader, Chewie, and then C-3PO and R2-D2.
So those were great.
So those were great. Those were
especially
phenomenal.
Chewie. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Chewie's
so
really cool.
Fun.
And Vader was amazing. I had a great time with Vader.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like the characters roaming around, it was like you'd get it like once, and then they'd be gone for like 3 hours, and then like they would disappear, and then be gone for like 4 hours, or just be gone totally. So it's kind of a bummer. Some of the other things they offered, they did a lot of offerings, at least throughout the day in terms of events. So things like Star Wars 101, Star Wars at Lightspeed. You saw Star Wars at Lightspeed, that was pretty fun. The Superfan Challenge was awesome. It was actually extremely hard.
Yeah.
Everybody that went up, you know, got all 10 questions in the beginning right. I got 8 right because I forgot that Gungans are from Naboo. I thought they were from somewhere else. I can't remember the other one. Oh yeah, it was like what admiral led like one of the battles. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I got that wrong. But I got everything else right. So that was really cool. They had some drawing classes. The costume celebration was neat. A little bummed about like there weren't a massive amount of costumes on board.
Yeah.
And the ones that there were some definite repeats, and then some cool ones. Like one guy was Cal from what do you call it? Jedi Fallen Order, which was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see that.
Was cool.
But yeah, you know, not a massive amount of people, and even talking to some of the other people in line, they were also surprised that they weren't a huge amount of people that were dressed up. for Star Wars Day at Sea.
We would see more people with costumes.
Because I mean, you think about Star Wars, you think about people cosplaying, and there just wasn't a ton. You know what I also just realized?
What?
We didn't meet the pig guy. The green, like, pig
I never
person.
saw him.
I know. No, exactly. I didn't see them at all. What a bummer. I just thought about that.
I don't
the guy
know
with the big
if I
axe.
saw him, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was on our cruise at all, so that stinks.
Maybe something happened. Maybe there was an issue and there was supposed to be more characters
I don't know,
and something
maybe.
happened.
Definitely interesting.
I don't know.
So yeah, and then the fireworks were good. Pretty standard deck fireworks for Disney Cruise Line. I mean, it was very similar to the fireworks that they do for Pirate Night. And did they do fireworks on Frozen Night? On the Alaska Cruise?
They can't do fireworks.
Oh, that's right,
on
they can't do that. But the actual show itself for the Sum of the Force deck show was also just okay. Yeah. It was mostly just like, we're gonna show you some movie footage and then a character will come out. And then we'll show you some movie footage and then a character will come out. And then some movie footage and a character will come out. So it was like, you could have done something.
How they incorporated more of, they had like a runway on the deck and like Captain Phasma would walk the deck with like stormtroopers behind her.
That was kind of cool.
So I like how they were in the audience, but I do agree with Joe in terms of it was like, you know, a little bit of a character show and then they'll show something from the movie. A little bit of a character show and then they'll show something from the movie. Like I said, it was good, but it didn't blow my mind. If you
think about the Marvel Day at Sea,
which we haven't done, but we have seen videos on.
We've seen videos of it.
It's like a story.
A plot and a story, and then people coming, they're just like, it's crazy town all over the place. So I was kind of hoping for something like that, but I guess with Star Wars being what it is,
I mean,
it's hard to do something unique like that.
Yeah, like I said, again, it wasn't bad by any means.
No, Star Wars Day wasn't cool.
It was
just
good and not
the deck
great.
show.
Yeah, the deck show. But yeah, overall, I personally good but not great.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I was talking to Joe a lot of, I think we said this in maybe the Star Wars Day at Sea vlog. We also might be spoiled because we live in Orlando and go to Galaxy's Edge often.
Yeah.
So we are fully immersed on Batuu. Like when you enter that land at Hollywood Studios, like you're there.
You're in it.
So going on a Disney cruise and having one day being Star Wars Day at Sea, maybe our expectations were also too high because we know what the theme parks can do.
That's true, yeah.
So, you know,
something to consider.
That might be just us. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the Castaway Key 5K. This was my first race literally ever. I'm not a runner. I used to play competitive sports and I'm not really in shape anymore, but this year it's happening. I'm doing it, guys. But been training and I ran it and it was great. So if you're ever wanting to do it, do it. Just don't hesitate and just sign up for it. You can sign up ahead of time through the your cruise account online. You can sign up through your cruise account online, or you can sign up directly on the ship, which is what we did. We just signed up at guest services and we did attend one of the overview sessions where we signed our waiver. They talked about the course and we actually got our bib. So that was super convenient, meaning that we did not have to do that on race day. I believe they offered that twice. Where you can go and do that, so that was super easy. We disembarked at about 9:30 on Castaway Key Day, and then the race started at approximately like 9:50. So you kind of are at the mercy of whatever time the race usually begins. They said about 20 minutes after they're allowed to disembark. I personally like running really early in the morning, so I was a little bit bummed that it was so much later in the day. But it just gave me motivation to run faster so I could finish and enjoy the rest of Castaway Key Day. You do start at one end, kind of where at Pelican Plunge, where you rent the bicycles from. You go all the way down the runway, you do the loop where the observation tower is. They actually call it the Loop of Doom for some reason. And then you exit, go down to Serenity Bay, you come back.
Yeah, come back.
You come back, you have to do the Loop of Doom again, and then you end where the starting line is.
Yep.
I also timed it on my watch and only got 3.01 miles instead of 3.10 miles.
Oh.
So I don't know if that would bother you or if that is accurate or not, but I'm just telling you that's what my watch told me.
And one other thing to keep in mind is if you are looking to use any type of internet radio or internet streamed music, make sure you download all of that beforehand. So there is 3G on the island. They used to have 4G, but I'm honestly thinking that the hurricane knocked something out because it was very in and out. We actually saw, I don't know if you noticed it or if you were on the tram, but there was actually a guy up on one of the cell towers.
Oh, really?
Like working on it.
No, I had no idea.
I feel like my cell reception was going in and out. Of course, you gotta have it on your plan or it would be roaming. So maybe that was part of the issue. But just to be sure, make sure you download your music if you have a specific playlist you like to run to ahead of time to make sure if you do lose reception, you still have it.
Yeah, because I just listened to, there's like a specific station that I've been training with on Pandora, and that kept going in and out, which, you know, threw me off just like a little bit.
I feel like I had to listen to a lot of, let's see, Flagpole Center Radio.
It went to my like offline.
Just like my 90s alternative,
yeah,
then
so
like 2000s alternative.
So it's kind of funny. But I finished the race in 41 minutes, which is about 13.5-minute mile. So nothing too fast. I paced myself. I did run every day on the ship to keep training except for one. And yeah, I would definitely do it again. It's included in your cruise fees, so you do not have to pay extra for it. You do get a bib and you do get a medal. The medal is plastic, but it is really nice, and I believe that design just came out like
brand new
within the last couple months, so that was kind of exciting. So yeah, and I'm looking to do a 10K next.
Woo!
So I'm hoping to do the Wine and Dine 10K, which is at Epcot in November. So I'm gonna see if I can do that one now.
Haul time, merch time, let's do it. So, first things first, let's talk about some Star Wars merch, and specifically some Star Wars Day at Sea pins.
Yeah.
So the first pin that we have is this amazing Star Wars Day at Sea 2020 pin. It is the combination pin between the Rebels and the Empire. Really awesome design. I love I think it's fairly new, this design for Star Wars Day at Sea. Really, really like it. Super, super cool. Second one that I got was the Imperial style Star Wars Day at Sea pin. You got the TIE Fighter up here. You've also got the Death Star, of course, and it has the logo with the Empire in the back. They had one for the Rebels, but I just really like the Empire, so that's where we are. So those are the guys over there. We also have the Star Wars Day at Sea 2020 Disney Cruise Line vinyl rubber magnet. So this is the fridge magnet. It's got both the Death Star and the Millennium Falcon, and then that kind of combined symbol with that Sile on here. We have the shirt that I'm also wearing that I will now model for you. We'll switch over and have me model on the shirt. So it is my Star Wars Day at Sea shirt. Got that combined logo on it. We've got the, actually have a Star Destroyer, the Death Star, TIE Fighter, X-Wing, a Y-Wing, Millennium Falcon, ship of course. So really, really cool design. We also got a Star Wars Day at Sea blanket, of course. Really, really nice blanket, super soft, very similar to the one that we got in Alaska. A slightly smaller and thinner fleece than you might be used to. Of course, same size as the ones you would get in the parks or on the other ships. But just keep that in mind. It's not the largest and the thickest blanket on the planet, but just a nice blanket overall. And last but not least, we have the amazing Star Wars Day at Sea Disney Cruise Line 2020 banner that you get in your room the night before Star Wars Day at Sea. You can take these. They do drape them across your bed. They are yours to take home free of charge. It's super, super cool design. I really like the color scheme. The font is really, really nice, and the TIE bomber as well as the X-Wing.
So some of the other merch that we got, we did get another magnet. This is for the Fantasy. It kind of has that design that would be similar to the one on the stern of the ship. And we also got a Fantasy pin, again, very similar to that same art style that is featured on the stern of all the ships, and then it also has Dumbo on it. This is part of a set where they have every ship as well. And we've actually seen them at Disney Springs. So even though we've been on all 4 ships now, we might cheat a little bit and buy them at Disney Springs, so we have all 4. But you guys know we've done them all now, so it's fine.
Yep.
And then the last pin I picked up at Castaway Key. It is the Castaway Key 5K. It's just to kind of commemorate that. It's got Mickey running. I like how he looks really angry. It's really funny to me. So we picked that up there. I believe this is part of that same new style, similarly to the medal that I got. So I think this just came out a couple months ago too. And then this time I actually got some jewelry. So I did splurge a little bit, treated myself to some things that I had been looking at just to kind of celebrate the 5K and our Grand Slam and our 1,000 subscriber milestone. So I did treat myself twice. These are Creaselu brand necklaces. They're both necklaces I've been eyeing in the theme parks for quite a while now. I just couldn't justify them. They're not overly expensive. They're in like the $60 to $75 range, but they are like 18 karat sterling and platinum. So they are like a little bit nicer. And I got a silver Mickey that'll just be a nice little everyday necklace. And then I really like this rose gold rainbow. I got both because we did get a discount with our gold level Castaway Club membership on the cruise. It's 10%. And there's no taxes on board, so I figure I might as well get both now because it would be cheaper. So I did, and I've already worn both, and I love them.
So hello, it's me. Just me. Kelly's in bed because it is like 10 o'clock the night before this video comes out, and I realized we never shot an outro for it. So here it is for you. That was our kind of review video of the cruise, as well as our merch haul of both Star Wars Day stuff and, you know, regular cruise stuff. If you liked your video, make sure to give us a big thumbs up. If you have a favorite ship of the fleet, let us know in the comments below what you think about, you know, your favorite ship on the Disney Cruise Line. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of our adventures. Click the bell icon to get notified every time we go live with new videos. And as always, we will see you next time for more Young at the Parks.